Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and for April of 2023, I thought I would read different poems by Wallace Stevens. Wallace Stevens was an insurance executive. He worked mainly for Hartford, in Hartford. He was a vice president there. He was sort of a bigwig in the insurance world, but on the side he wrote poetry, and he was acclaimed a pretty important American poet of the 20th century. The reason that I'm looking at Wallace Stevens this year is that the Great Books group that used to meet in the Plaza Library now meets over Zoom. We have chosen to look at some of Wallace Stevens' poems for the month of April. So this way I get to work on some of the poems that we may be talking about and sharing them. And so my plan is to do a poem a day throughout the month of April. So I thought I would start with a poem by Wallace Stevens called Of Modern Poetry. The poem of the mind in the act of finding what will suffice. It has not always had to find. The scene was set. It repeated what was in the script. Then the theater was changed to something else. Its past was a souvenir. It has to be living to learn the speech of the place. It has to face the men of the time and to meet the women of the time. It has to think about war, and it has to find what will suffice. It has to construct a new stage. It has to be on that stage and, like an insatiable actor, slowly and with meditation speak words that in the ear, in the delicatest ear of the mind, repeat exactly that which it wants to hear, at the sound of which an invisible audience listens, not to the play, but to itself, expressed in an emotion as of two people, as of two emotions becoming one. The actor is a metaphysician in the dark, twanging an instrument, twanging a wiry string that gives sounds passing through sudden rightnesses, wholly contained the mind, below which it cannot descend, beyond which it has no will to rise. It must be the finding of a satisfaction, and maybe of a man skating, a woman dancing, a woman combing. The poem of the act of the mind. So that was Of Modern Poetry by Wallace Stevens.